My name's Mason. I'm going to be the clinician, and this is Jacob. He's going to be the patient. First one I'm doing is the tibialis anterior. So the origin is right up here, the lateral tibial condyle, and we're going to work our way down towards the medial and plantar surface of the first cuneiform and metatarsal. And the action is dorsiflexion of the ankle and inversion of the foot. So we're going to test the opposite. We're going to try to put it into plantar flexion and eversion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one I'm going to do is the extensor hallucis longus. And the origin's up here at the middle portion of the anterior surface of the fibula, or the interosseous membrane. Work our way down to the base of the distal phalanx of the first toe. And the action for this is the extension of the first MP joint and IP joint, and then dorsiflexion and inversion. So we're going to test it in opposite, make it go to plantar flexion and eversion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is extensor digitorum longus, and it starts up here. The origin is the lateral tibial condyle. Then we're going to work our way down towards the insertion, which is the distal phalanges of the 4 lateral toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The action is extension of 2 through 5 MP, IP, and DIP joints, and eversion and dorsiflexion of the ankle. So we're going to test it into inversion and plantar flexion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is extensor digitorum brevis, and the origin is right at the distal part of the superior and lateral surfaces of the calcaneus. So right in here. And then it goes all the way down to the 4 tendons to the 1 through 4 digits. And then the action is extension of MP joints 1 through 4, and then the IP joints of 2 through 4. So we're going to test it opposite. So hold these up. I'm going to try and push them down for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is peroneus tertius, and the origin is the distal 1/3 surface of the fibula. Up here. Goes down to the dorsal surface of the 5th metatarsal, and its action is eversion and dorsiflexion. So we're going to test that into inversion and plantar flexion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The next one is peroneus brevis, and its origin is distal 2/3 lateral fibula. We'll work our way down to the insertion, which is the base of the 5th metatarsal. We go behind the lateral malleolus. Its action is eversion and plantar flexion. So like that. I'm going to test the opposite for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is peroneus longus, and its origin is the head and upper 2/3 lateral fibular shaft, or the lateral tibial condyle. We're going to work our way down behind the lateral malleolus towards the plantar surface of the foot, all the way to the lateral side of the first metatarsal and cuneiform. Its action is eversion and plantar flexion, and we're going to test it into inversion and dorsiflexion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is gastrocnemius, and for this one he's going to be in prone position. So the origin is the medial and lateral epicondyles of the femur. and its insertion is the calcaneus or the Achilles tendon. Its action is plantar flexion and knee flexion. So we're going to test it into dorsiflexion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry,
Okay. Go.
The next one is soleus, and its origin is the posterior fibular head. So, like right here, we work our way down under the gastroc. Its insertion is the calcaneus in the Achilles tendon. Its action is also plantar flexion. So we're going to test it into dorsiflexion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Go.
The next one is tibialis posterior. Its origin is the posterior lateral tibia. You can't really feel it, so I'm going to map it out. Goes down this side, around the medial malleolus, plantar surface, and its insertion is the navicular tuberosity and base of 2 through 4 metatarsals. 1, 2, 3, 4. And its action is plantar flexion and inversion. So we're going to test it opposite into dorsiflexion and eversion for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next one is flexor hallucis longus, and its origin is the posterior distal 2/3 of the fibula. We'll work our way down around the medial malleolus down to its insertion, which is the distal phalanx of the first toe. And its action is flexion of the first IP joint, and it also assists in the flexion of the first NP joint. And its action is inversion and plantar flexion. So we're going to test it opposite into dorsiflexion or extension for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is the flexor digitorum longus, and its origin is the middle 3/4 of posterior surface of the tibia. So we're going to work our way down around and under the medial malleolus to the insertion of the base of the distal phalanges of 2 through 5 digits. And its action is flexion of the 2 through 5 PIP, DIP, and MP joints, and plantar flexion and inversion. So we're going to test these into extension for 5 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4,